it's starting to reintroduce yourself to yourself, which when you're in an abusive relationship, you lose that connection.
Absolutely. And that's something that you probably understand very well. I
Mm.
definitely do. And a lot of people listening do, that the focus throughout the relationship was so much on the other person. It was
Oh, just
always
meeting
about,
their needs
yeah,
constantly, even trying to preempt needs that we don't even know that whether they were going to need them or not, but just
anticipating it. Yeah,
exhausting.
it is. And so then switching that, flipping it back to focusing on us, because especially in the case of when you have someone who's highly narcissistic, it's all about them. It's
Yeah.
all about what they want, what's, going to be best for them, what their needs are. And so if we spend the whole entire relationship catering to that person and putting them first, and we are always in last place, we are always taking a back seat. So I love that diverting piece of what you do, because it brings that focus back on you. And that's something that I always talk about, is that in my program, what we do is focus on what we can control,
Mm,
what's going on inside of us that
so
we can
important.
change, because we can't change the other person. We can't make them love us more. We can't make them behave differently. And if we're spending all day, like you said earlier, with these thoughts going through our heads, because we have that particular connection, whether it's spiritual, whether it's emotional, whether
Mm.
a physical type of a connection to that person that we want to break or we want to get rid
Mm-hmm.
of. We
And
have,
there's a fear in that, that when we do open up that space, because so much of our existence and our identity has been wrapped up in the relationship and meeting their needs, there is like a fear there that what are we going to do with that? And so that's why that aspect for me is the one that really, really locks in the progress. And it really kind of, because I do remember, when I was out there looking for, and I was in a lot of Facebook groups, accessing support from some incredible people on the internet. And they were, when it came to the trauma bond, the advice, which is solid advice, is time, let it, let time pass, which it is, it's valid advice, but there's so much more in taking action, in really, being intentional about how you spend the time, even if it's a short amount of time each day, than it is then just thinking that if I don't do anything for 6 months, it'll feel better, because actually often it can feel worse because we feel like we should be much further forward than we are.